There has been a U-turn, Lubo. A U-turn. Let me bring up the details. They've moved the Dortmund game, from a Category A
it's Category
to
B.
Category B. They haven't done so with the other games. I'm not sure if Slavia Prague was already Category B or what. But obviously, they've taken notice of the ridiculously poor attendances. I mean, look, it's still 49 to 96 £.
Sean, sorry, can I just ask it? Why is Slavia Prague rated at the same as a Borussia Dortmund?
It's not. It's a C, Johnny. Slavia Prague.
It's a C now.
No, it always
I've already been charged. I've already been charged.
So have I. It always was a C.
Oh, right. Okay.
But Dortmund was an A game.
Always, yes.
Okay. Are you on automatic? Can I ask, Ian?
Yeah. So the only change they've made for the Champions League has been Dortmund from an A to a B category.
Okay.
Yeah, John Wenham, Lilywhite Rose man, has said leaving it a Category A, the pricing for that would have been obscene. Is this the first sign? Let me. How do I simplify this? Is this the tail wagging the dog, or are the club just reacting to the fact that they've lost revenue from the last few games, or is it their recognition and realization that that maybe that the environment, the economy, everything else is a little bit too stretched for people to be able to?
I think Vinay's been watching the Spurs 5 show.
Listen, it's Vinay.
You keep inviting him, mate. You keep inviting him. One day he'll turn up.
It's 100%. It's Vinay. And it's an opportunity for the club to say, look, shit's different now, right? There's a new sheriff in town, and he goes by the name of Vinay. Look, when I spoke to people from the other side of town, they said that Vinay was always into fan engagement, looking at the PR and the relationship between the fan base and the board. Because if you remember when the fans marched on Kroenke's office and demanded investment, from that point on, it seemed that everything had changed at the club. And I think there's been lots of little things that Vinay has done, liaising with some of the fan groups, talking about the statues as Sean examines his head. And I think, reading the room, I think we've started to see small signs. From small acorns to big trees grow. Let's just hope that it's the first step, baby steps. But I think we'd like to see more. But listen, I think it's a good sign personally. And you can spin it whichever way you want. You can spin it like fan pressure. Or you can say, well, they've thought about it, or you can say half empty stadium or 12,000 seats empty, therefore they had to do something to arrest the situation. I think wherever your objective lies, you can find a place for yourself to sit. Personally, I'm going to go down the route of Vinay and the club looking to change shit at the club.
Do you think it's how much revenue? I know it's like sort of plucking a number out of thin air, but do you have any sort of thoughts on how much money roughly the club might have been losing out on by not having a full stadium? Well, it could have been drinking beers over the lot. Was Doncaster was 3/4 or half empty, Villarreal, and what was the other game?
Sean, Doncaster was 42, Villarreal was 54, 7, and this one was 49.5.
What was that one? What was the last one?
49.5.
Copenhagen, Copenhagen. Yeah, so that's about what? So 12,000 a pop, sort of somewhere between 12 and 20,000, whatever.
12, 19, and 7. So
so about 40,000 empty seats, give or take. Probably 80,000 fewer beers drunk. It all adds up.
It does.
Yeah, because there's a lot of 12-year-olds that come during the night that are prone to a couple of beers.
Well, that's one of the ways they could arrest it and also fix the atmosphere in the stadium as well, right?
Well, if you averaged it at £60 a pop, because there were a lot of the seats upstairs opposite me in the East Stand last week that were completely empty. Just a conservative £60 a pop. You're talking about the club losing $2.5 million in revenue.
Yeah.
So, it's a lot of money, plus food and drink, plus the merchandise in the club shop.
That's the thing, Lubo. In this day and age, the income from stadium is probably the least of it. So I think the biggest issue here, from a fan's perspective, is the lack of atmosphere.
Well, there's no as well, isn't there?
Yeah, I think atmosphere is the thing for me.
Yeah,
that's been highlighted since we brought that up a few weeks ago, and then one of the guys the following day at the presser was asking, brought that up as well. It's been quite a popular subject in the press. It has been. I did.
Lubo's seriously taking all the credit for the
Hang on. Effect. Joking aside, I did say Doncaster should have been 20 quid tops, and they were charging 30, and they're not. It was 19,000 empty seats. So,
I just wonder whether at some point there's a sort of law of diminishing returns. Like if you have a full stadium that, the prices of which are so low that it's barely breaking even because of the additional cost of security, the additional costs of having police there, all that, if they expect to have lower numbers, they can probably get away with fewer things open or whatever. I'm not sure how it would work, but there might be some sort of low threshold where the price of the ticket isn't worth having the seat filled from an economical standpoint, if that makes sense.
When you look at fixtures, the fixtures came out end of August, and they're looking at Copenhagen slap in between Chelsea and Man United. And nobody's actually thought to themselves, you know what, people are going to spend big money on seats for the two league games. How are we going to rescue the attendance and make sure that the ground's full? And they just arrogantly thought, well, doesn't matter, it's Champions League, they'll pay. And the fans have shown they're just not paying now. They've had enough. Fans have been, for many, many years, fans have been rinsed. You used to have all the league games, plus you had 5 or 6 cup games. Then it became 3 cup games. Then it became 2. Then when COVID came, those were taken out, and you just had your 19 league games. They held prices down for a bit. I think he put prices up after the first year, held them down for 3 years, and the last 2 years he's put he put the price up in year 5, and it was only because of the trust that Levy was forced to back down and not raise season ticket prices for season ticket holders this season. But what he did is that we know about the discounts for senior citizens. The other thing also is that they made sure that people like the 4 of us who have got season tickets cannot give our season ticket or sell our season ticket if we can't go to anybody we want to, because they've got to spend 50, 60 quid becoming a Spurs member. So they made the money there. The other thing also, which I'm 50-50 on, was that if a season ticket holder couldn't go last season and it was a category A and they put their ticket on the ticket exchange, then the club would charge, I think, £4 extra. So a ticket, if I wasn't going to a Man United game, it was £109. The club would charge 113, take £4. Now if I didn't go last week to United, I'd get 85 quid back, which is my average amount per game, spread over the 19 games, and the club charge £109. They make the 24 quid. So they're making money. They may not have put season ticket prices up, but they're making money. And it's at the end of the day, fans get to a point where you can only ride the gravy train for so long with anybody, and the football hasn't been great. The results have been poor at home, and the fans, a lot of fans, there's still a cost of living crisis here in this country. People are worried about the budget, how that's going to affect, and there's people are losing jobs. It's not a good situation out there, and maybe the club are actually coming into the real world now, because for the last 25 years they haven't been. Maybe now they're coming into the real world and realizing that you can't treat fans totally like cash cows, and that's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Well, they got away with it for like 20 odd years basically, and the fans letting them do it. I mean, with a significant amount of fans not turning up to the last one, do you think that's just the fans have had enough and actually said, right, I ain't paying that? Which personally I don't believe, because I've never seen nothing off this fan base to make me think that it's got that sort of power in it as such. Or do you think it is just basically down to the time of year, where this is the time of year where it's basically you're spending a lot of money with Christmas coming up and everything else?
It wasn't a sexy fixture, was it, though, Dan? That's the thing. I mean, had we been at home to, I don't know, a PSG or, an AC Milan or something, one of those, I think, it might have got the juices flowing. But let's be honest, Slavia Prague at home, Copenhagen at home.
I'm not sure it's. I can't ever sell my ticket. Whenever I don't want to go to a game, I put my ticket up on the exchange. No one took it for United. No one took it for Chelsea. They're Category A games. No one took it. And I was watching on the TV, and there were loads and loads and loads of seats that were empty, individual seats. Maybe if you had a pair, maybe someone would take them to take their son or whatever. But individual seats.
But mine sold quite quick, Sean. But what I was going to say to you was what Lubo said before. You've got to go and. Right, last season you could just go on as a member and buy a ticket. Now you got to be a member plus. You got to pay out. Was it 110 quid? Is it?
No, about 60, isn't it? I think.
I can't remember. You got to pay for that in the hope that you can buy a ticket. I mean,
you've got to become a member to be able to buy a ticket. That's what I had to off Stell last season. I had to become a member at Spurs.
A member plus this year.
Yeah. Right.
Just to be able to transfer.
I was lucky because I only had to pay.
You can get around it.
It was the last couple of games, basically. There was only about 7 or 8 games left of the season, so I got it for 25 quid. But I had to do that before I could even buy the bloody ticket.
That's what I'm saying. Now I think it's 110. It's I don't know, Stell, if it's membership plus. I thought it was 100 quid. I might be wrong. It's definitely much more than it was previously. And to buy a ticket from the exchange, you must be, or for me to. So if I wanted to send it to you, Dan, right, on the ticket exchange, I couldn't send it to you unless you were a Spurs member plus.
Yeah.
For me to send it to you.
What you can do is just ask Dan to put the money in your account, and you can just send him a screenshot of the barcode of the ticket, and it works. But that's great if you know someone personally. If you don't know someone personally that wants a ticket, then you have to go through the exchange.
Then you ain't doing that, are you?
Yeah, I'm not always sure. I'm pretty sure someone told me that the same barcode can work for each game and stuff. I don't want to kind of get that stuff out on the. If Vino's watching, I might get in trouble. So let's move on from that one. Just quickly, Stella, on this topic, do you think that there's any chance at all that the club might raise prices for either individual matches or for the season ticket next season, come April time when it's renewal time?
Mate, they'll do whatever they want. At the end of this price reduction for the Dortmund game is because it's all supply and demand, right? If you drop price, there's only 3 reasons you do it. 1, whatever you're selling is going out of date. There's an expiry. 2, you want to promote your service, so you drop the price to attract more people to come because you want to promote it to them before you lure them in and then they sign up to a bigger package. Or the demand's not there. And I think what's happened here is the demand isn't there. 10,000 empty seats. That stadium was built for Champions League football. It was built for those big nights. That's what it was built for, to maximise revenue. And you've got 10,000 empty seats. That's 10,000 people not buying food and drink, 10,000 people potentially not going into the club shop, 10,000 people not buying the programme, 10,000 people haven't bought a ticket. Of course they're going to drop the price.
And the club has sold Son. There, I think, is what comes down to a lot of it.
Dan,
now that Son's not there, I think it will show with that. Now that Son's not there, you will see a big difference on certain things. The previous
Champions League games were sold out. The previous Champions League game was sold out. When you're playing Copenhagen, right? They've been awful in the Champions League this season. They're not doing well in their domestic league. They're not a good club. You can't say to fans, right, come and watch us play this awful team, 85 quid. Like, I'm fortunate. If I want to go to a game, I can pay, right? I can pay to go to a game. But I'm not going to pay £85 to watch that. What for? You know, and that's what it came down to. Fans basically said, we're not paying £85 to watch Copenhagen. If that was Juventus, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, it would have been sold out. People would have paid the money. People would have paid the money.
I'm saying Chelsea wasn't a sellout. United wasn't a sellout. And that's lethal.
Okay, I know why though,
Sean.
Right, I know why. Yeah, but it wasn't 10,000 empty seats. How many empty seats? A couple of thousand?
But Lugo, you're the man with the stats. How many? What was the capacity at Chelsea?
Get the calculator out. Get the calculator.
The Chelsea crowd was 61,202.
All right, so 500 empty seats.
By the way, still, Villarreal, there were 7,000 empty seats.
Again, Lubo, Villarreal. So it's not. You're not too fussed.
No.
Do you think Son has got nothing to do with this, though?
I think you're actually spot on there, mate. I think Son has got a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I don't. Guys, the football is crap. Okay, the football until we sign some better players, until Frank has the ability to mix it up because he's got better players. Whatever argument we want to take, fine. People aren't going to pay. The home record is awful. Our home record is just in the mud. You know at the back of your head, not only am I going to watch us play an average football team, there's a good chance I'm not going to watch a very game of football regardless. I'm not paying 80 quid for that. And Lubo's right, by the way. There was a guy sitting next to me because the guys I normally go Spurs with, they didn't go to the United game. Normally there's four of us. I sat there by myself in terms of people that I knew that I normally go with. And the guy next to me, he said to me, he paid £86 for his ticket. And I know for a fact, the guy I normally go with, he sold that ticket on the exchange for 55 quid.
Yeah, that's what, exactly.
The average. Yeah, you only get the average.
Right. Yeah. Now, the guy next to me, he paid the 86. Johnny, the guy next to me paid 86 quid.
The club are making a spin on the difference.
Correct.
But the point I'm making is, the guy next to me paid 86 quid. The other two that I go with, empty seats. No one bought those seats. Why? Because it's 86 quid. So we're at a point where if the football was brilliant every week, I think fans pay the price. If you're paying a team that's well known, you know it's going to be a good game, it's a team you really want to see your team beat, you're going to pay the price. But if the football's not so good and you're playing Copenhagen or Villarreal or whoever, the chances are you're going to have empty seats unless you drop the ticket price. It's the only way to do it. If it was a semi-final, Sean, if it was a semi-final and we're playing Copenhagen, it'll be sold out because there's something on the line. The place in the final, right? But this,
I guess
I don't see why.
Part of it is like, sorry, stop. Part of it is like, I think the club maybe made the mistake of thinking it's not always necessarily about who you're playing. It's the fact that you're in the Champions League, and therefore that just a competition comes with a category A vibe rather than necessarily who you're playing. I would also imagine that there was probably some sort of factoring of the prices in because they have to bake in the cost of the this and that and the other beforehand before they necessarily know who the draw is against. But I actually think that one of the solutions would be, like, the club are making that. You're right, Johnny, and Stell, you're right. Like, they are making that spin on the price, right? If you pay 85 quid for the ticket, as your member of the cup guarantee scheme or whatever it is, and then you want to sell it, you're only going to get 65 quid back. And then if they do lease it, they do relist it and sell it, and it goes for 85 quid, they're nicking the other 20 quid, right? I'm sure it might be complicated to be able to figure out how to do it, but I'm sure an engineer could.
You get the average. Sorry, Sean, I was just going to say, like when you buy the season ticket last season, if I was playing Man United, I'd be getting £87 back.
Yeah, exactly.
This, I get the average of 55. The 90 games, right?
Well, that's what I said.
Right?
Correct.
I get £56. I can't go to Man United because I'm in Timbuktu. I'm gutted now because instead of getting my £87 back that I normally do for not getting the game, I get 56. So I lose out on that game by 30 odd quid because it's the average. And
where's the rationale for it to be the average? If they're going to make those sorts of tweaks and changes, I think the better way of doing it to be able to guarantee a sellout would be able to for people to be able to set their own price, and then just know that if you set the price, if you're willing to accept 40 quid for your ticket, just know that like the club have already made their 85
quid. Like an auction.
Well, yeah, but like you bought the ticket originally for 85 quid, right?
Like
you paid 85 quid. If you're willing to take 40 quid for it, then it can be put at 40, but then the club will take, say, 8% of that feedback as some sort of thing. So they're making money either way. So that's a way where people can sit there and go, you know what, I definitely can't go, and I don't want to take the chance. I just want to get some money back. I'll set the price at 40 quid if it means that someone else around me. That might create a race to the bottom, but it also might create a situation where the common argument that people say is that the ticket pricing is pricing out the real local fans. It prices out the people with the young kids. You can't get the next generation.
I think they did it as a deterrent, Sean. I think they did it as a deterrent to stop season ticket holders from putting their tickets online. I think they genuinely thought this will put them off. That's why I believe they did it. As much as they get to make money off it as well. I think they did it to put people off of selling.
What I don't get, you're punishing the very people. So like I buy a season ticket for the whole season. It turns out I can't go to Man United and Chelsea. I can go to every other game of the season. And those two games, instead of getting £87, I get 56. Right? On both tickets for both games, I lose money when the club not only have had the money, but they're going to make an extra £60 a game for my two tickets. Why am I being punished? If you're selling it for 87,
Johnny, are you sure on that? Are you sure on that? Because this is a different situation. Surely.
Sure. Listen, it's 100% fact. If you get your money back, your money is paid. It's the average price of 19. It's your season ticket divided by 19.
Johnny,
I think it's different for the cup.
No, right. I'm not talking about the cup. I'm talking about the league.
The league. Johnny, you get your money back. You get your money back for.
I'm talking about the league.
I'm talking about the league. If I sell my
no, Lubo, you don't. I've sold 4 tickets this year. I've got £55 for every single ticket. I sold Chelsea. I sold Bournemouth. I sold 4 tickets. I got Wolves. I sold Wolves. £55 every ticket I got. Every single
don't ever tell Lubo he's wrong about something which is clerical.
He is. He's waffling.
Very, very clear. It's very clear. Whatever, if I put my ticket on the ticket exchange for my seat, if I didn't have a ticket and I was a member, then category A, which I think is 6 games, is £109.
But you don't get £109.
Hold on. I will get back my 85 that I've paid. If it's one of the 9 category B games, which are 96 quid, I still get back my £85.
That's what we said.
Hang on. If it's category C,
Lubo, mate.
Category C, hang on. No. Johnny's talking about losing 30 quid here. Hang on. If it's category C, which is £81, I still get back my 85.
Look, Lubo, right? I've paid for my seat, okay? If I can't go to Man United,
you can just say exactly what Phil was saying.
Johnny, you get your money back. If you can't go to a game, you get your money back.
No, because you're making the assumption that you're going to sell exactly
all
the same
your
number
tickets.
of category A, B, and C games. What if you just sell your category A games? You're out of pocket.
Correct.
Why?
Correct.
Why are you out of pocket?
Because you're only getting. I get the average, right?
Someone give him a calculator.
You get the average. You get the average. And you know what, Johnny? When I look at what I spend on my season ticket,
what if you sell a ticket that's not an average price ticket, though? Then you're losing money.
Last season,
you pay a season ticket, 19 games, and you average it out. And that's what you get back.
No, because Lubo, you're basing it on the fact that you're going to sell the same number of category A, B, and C games, so it balances out. What if you only sell the category A games? Then you lose out.
Lubo, last season, now I'm going to say it one more time. Last season, Lubo, if I sold Man United for 87, if I bought it's an £87 ticket, I got £87, right? This season, if I sell my Man United seat, I get £56, right?
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Right. Johnny, last season, if I was to sell my season ticket on the ticket exchange, every single game, I would make a profit of 254 quid.
But you're making the assumption you sell every game, Lubo. That's the point. You're making these big assumptions. You're going to sell all the tickets.
Right. The club, if I sold every ticket for every game, then I can make a profit on my season ticket. And the club
You're not listening. You're just not listening.
I know what you're saying. What you're saying is that a big ticket holder this year who got said ticket on ticket exchange loses the opportunity of making a profit. That's what you're saying. I'm well aware of that.
Lubo, if you sell,
we're just getting into an argument over trying to be right about a semantic clerical thing. Let's just move on. Let's move on.
Can we agree?
Lubo, for once, you are likely wrong on something that you are usually the king of, all the detail and the data. Okay, but right now, I think you're wrong on this one, Lubo.
Lubo, I sold 2 tickets. I've lost money on the value of how much everyone else who I sold the ticket to had to pay considerably more than what I got for my ticket.
All right. Okay.
I think what they should just do, I think they should just take 5% off the price, 10%, whatever you sell it for, whether you sell it for a £5, whether you sell it for 500 quid. The club should just take 10% off of it, 8% off of it, 100%. And that's that. End of. So if you sell it for 50 quid and you lose out on a bit, so be it. If you sell it for more money than what it's worth, they get their bit of cash, you get your bit of worth. 100%. I reckon that's how the club should do it, but
Sean,
of course they won't.
Sean, can I just say, regarding ticket prices, specifically for the Champions League, I think they should do it based on who's the opponent, what's the importance of the game, what's the current footballing trend at the club, and gauge that and saying, right, this is a fair price for where we're at. And I think if they could do that, not an easy thing to do, but if they could do something like that, I think we wouldn't have an issue selling out the game.
Then not enough.
What do you mean by 3 categories?
Like category A, category B, category C. Can all of the games, considering all those things you're talking about, the variables that dictate?
Yeah, they can fall into one of those categories. Yeah,
that's what they already do, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but they put Copenhagen as a category A.
Yeah, so that's just a bad decision. But generally speaking,
that's what I mean.
No, it's category. Copenhagen.
They got it.
C.
Copenhagen should be a category C, guys.
It was playing. No, you're about Dortmund. Sorry, Dortmund. You meant Dortmund, not Copenhagen. Dortmund. Yeah.
Dortmund is a B. Dortmund's a B. That makes sense. Yeah.
All right. So we're not going to settle this today, but Lubo, I think you were wrong on that one. And how does that feel? Just quickly before we move on to the next topic. Are you okay, Vera?
Correct. I'm absolutely spot on with my fingers. Believe me.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Johnny, how you doing for time before we start another topic? You got to go?
Got to go soon, but all I know is that when I look at my Tottenham account, what was a ticket that everyone had to pay £87 for? I got £56. Fact, indisputable. It's in my account. Okay.
Why? Why do you get 56 and I get 55?
I
Why am I losing a pound here?
I think I'm being pedantic. It's 55, 56. It's something around that number. Anyway.
All right, okay. I was going to say,
yes,
I want my pound.
I've got another 5 minutes. Let's quickly talk about Spurs.
Okay, I'll move on to the next story. Just quickly, I've been keeping a little eye because I didn't want to disrupt the flow of the thing for the clip. But guys, I don't know what's going on in the chat tonight. I feel like there's some nastiness going on between people. Can everyone just leave it alone, please? Just it's not about whatever the personal grudges are and things. Just behave.
Talk football, people. Talk football. Talk football. Talk football.
And I want to start with you on this one, mate. Interesting drop tonight from the man at The Athletic saying that, as it turns out, Semenyo is actually available. His release clause is available, £65 million, available from January 1st. First one to trigger, can be anybody. And it's available, I think it doesn't say the specific dates, but January, it does happen at a certain time in January. Is that good news for Tottenham? Bad news for Tottenham? Is there any chance at all, given that other clubs have got bits and pieces they need to prioritise ahead of a left winger? Liverpool, surely they might be the favourites for the guy's signature, but they've got to get themselves figured out with their defence. Arsenal have to probably sell a left winger before they can bring one in. Chelsea have already got all the wingers in the game. Is there any chance that if Tottenham Hotspur can get a sniff of when that particular day is that clause comes along, is there any chance that this news that Semenyo is out there, that Tottenham Hotspur could find a way to get this guy in? Dan, I'll start with you.
The Garner brothers. The Garner brothers, yeah. Potential. Maybe Kudus can turn around and say, look, come here, bro. This is the place for you to hang out. I mean, I'm really clutching at straws.
And they're not in. Ghana's not in the African Cup of Nations. They didn't qualify. So
I'm clutching at straws. Let's be honest, right? But that's my only hope, that they have some sort of deep connection, that they'd love to play with each other, one on one wing and one on the other. I mean, that's a real long shot. What are you guys thinking?
It depends who else goes in for him. It depends who else wants him. It depends who else needs him. If we put the money down, right, job part done, we get to speak, then we get to speak to him. It's whether he wants to come to us or not then. And it also depends who else is going to go for him. If they do go for him, who knows? No one else might go for him. You just don't know. That's the thing. He might not want to come to us. He might want to come to us. If there's no other club there and he wants out, and we're the one that gives him the offer, I don't see why we can't get him. But obviously,
would you make him the club's highest earner to get it done?
And we've also got to put the money on the table to get him. It all adds up. If you don't do one, you don't get the other. It all works up together. I mean, you can get the player to want to come to you. You can get him pay his wages. You can get his contract. But if you don't pay the club, you're not getting him. So it's all got to work out together. So we've got to be willing to put the money down to be able to try and get the rest sorted out. Would we make him the highest earner? This is the chance where the club has got, it can, as long as no other big club comes in for him, we can put it on the table and say, right, Tottenham mean business now. We put it on the table, put the wages down, everything. Unless someone else steps in for him, I can't see why we can't get him. If we do everything and then say, for instance, Liverpool come in and take him, you'll have a lot of fans sitting there saying, do you know what? We pretty much had it on a plate, but it's Liverpool. We're not going to win that one. But if no one else really goes in for him, as long as we're willing to pay the wages and put the money on the table, I can't see why we don't get him. Liverpool, they need defence more. I think I agree with you. Arsenal, looks like they need to sell up a bit before they buy. Yeah. Who else would go for him? Would Chelsea go for him? I don't think they need him. Would City go for him? I don't think they need him. Arsenal, I think they're close to their limit on what they've spent. Liverpool, I think they definitely need to sort out their defence more. Would Newcastle go for him? I don't think Newcastle need him.
No.
I don't see why not. As long as we put the money on the table, trigger that thing, and then we get to talk to him, if we can get his wages down and everything, I don't see why not. It could work.